Let's talk about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. This team just lost 27-0 against the New York Jets. They didn't score a single point in the preseason opener at home. So you know Carolina Panthers fans are pissed that went to that game. I'm not going to overreact to one preseason game, but I do want to talk about some things that I saw on film and what I went to go back and look at on TV. The offensive line got peeled. This offensive line was getting peeled bad. They were getting whooped. This offensive line looked soft as wet tissue paper. They couldn't block. This offensive line looked terrible today against the Jets. And I do think that's one of the biggest glaring things with this Panthers team, because the offensive line can't work. The offense won't work. The offense will be in shambles. That means you can't protect Bryce Young. And when Bryce Young was in the game, he did look good. Hopefully, I'm not overreacting too much to it. I'm really trying not to. But the reason why I'm harping on the offensive line, this has been reports coming out of training camp that these guys haven't been playing up to standard. And even in practice, they've been getting peeled. They need to play better in order for this entire thing to work, because you paid Miles Sanders not big time money, but you gave him a contract. If they can't block for their running backs and they can't get Miles Sanders in space, how are you going to work off of play action? How are you going to work play action to your system if you are Frank Reich, if you are Thomas Brown, the brand new offensive coordinator, who called all the plays? Which he called some very vanilla plays, some curl routes, some slants, some things, some out routes to just get some guys going into the flow, get Bryce Young introduced into the NFL, get him introduced into the system. So I had no problem with the play calling. I know a lot of Panther fans did. I didn't early on. Maybe later into the game you did, but early on I didn't, because you're trying to warm these guys up. They haven't played football so long. Maybe it's a conditioning thing, but the starters for the offensive line have to play better in order for this thing to work. Because the offensive line cannot work for this Panthers team. I can't harp on this enough. They won't be good at all. They probably won't even be able to contend in this division if that offensive line is not up to standard. They have to be up to standard like how they were last season. Now, I do believe that they can get back to that mold. And remember, this is a Panthers team that struggled early on last season. Just into the middle and the back half of the season is when they turn things around. So keep that in mind. And I do expect for them to struggle early on. You have a rookie quarterback and a brand new coaching staff. And the players that have been on this team from the former regime, they just went through hell with Matt Rule. And you're bringing in a brand new system with Frank Reich, with Thomas Brown, your offensive play caller, and a brand new defensive coordinator, because you no longer have Steve Wilkes. So all these things are going to be new for this team. Now, offensively, they're going to have a lot of question marks, especially the wide receiver position. I think Laviska Shenault could be a #1 target for this team. He's going to be a guy that can match up in the backfield, can play inside and outside the slot, has a similar skill set to Deebo Samuel, but you have to use him effectively. You have to get creative with how you use him. But the more traditional wide receivers on this team will be a Jonathan Mingo, who is a rookie and may have some struggles as well. He struggled with getting separation in college, may struggle with that in the NFL, but he's still a big-time wide receiver from Ole Miss. Expect for him to get some good plays this season. DJ Chark is a good veteran to have. Last season with the Detroit Lions, he had over 500 yards receiving, and he was able to go down the field, stretch the field, and get some big chunk plays for Jared Goff. Expect for him to do the same thing with Bryce Young if the offensive line can hold up long enough for him to run down the field and get some of those long plays going deep. I do expect for them to clean these things up. All that messiness that you saw today from the Panthers, expect for them to clean that up when week 1 hits, but also expect for some struggles as well. I think that they can still contend in this division. I don't have them winning this division because they are so young. You have a rookie quarterback, and then you have the lack of weapons at the wide receiver that they aren't proven just yet, but they have a very good defense, and we saw that last season. That's going to be able to keep them in games. If Bryce Young can just go out there and they can just protect them, take care of the football, they could be a solid team in this division. I don't know about them going and winning games outside this division against big-time teams. We saw them do some of that last season, saw them compete with some of those top-tier teams because their defense and some of the play calling from Steve Wilkes from last season. But give this team some time. They're extremely young. I like Hayden Hurst at the tight end position. They may be in a situation to where the offensive line is up to par, to where they can do a lot of tight end reads, do some slip screens to Hayden Hurst, try to get Tommy Tremble out there as well, try to get these tight ends into the flow of things, try to get these guys to football. Maybe you can work into that situation. You also have Marshall Jr. as well from LSU. that you drafted a couple of seasons ago. His rookie season, he struggled to find his way on the field. Last season, he did get better when Matt Rule left. He played extremely well with the team, so he's also another wide receiver. But I do think press coverage is going to hurt this team early on. But their defense should be solid. Their defense should be able to keep them in games. Brian Burns is a premier pass rusher with this team, 12.5 sacks last season. Derek Brown is a good run stopper, can push the pocket. Frankie Louvu is a very good linebacker. Their secondary is solid. They're always getting safeties on the back end from guys like Von Bell, who's a very good veteran safety. Xavier Woods is another good safety to have as well. You have Jeremy Chin, and then you have J.C. Horn, who is a very good corner, and Dante Jackson as well. And if both of those guys are able to stay healthy last season in that Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, maybe they win that game. But I do expect for both of those guys to come up and play big for this upcoming season, just to make sure that C.J. Henderson is not the number one corner for this team, because he's not a number one corner in the NFL. He's burnt toast if he has to go out there and guard number one wide receiver. But when he's their number 3, number 4 corner, that is where he's best at. And you also have Justin Houston as well, who last season had 9.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. It's not what he was a couple seasons ago with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he is a good veteran option to have at the pass rushing position. So I believe the Carolina Panthers will be fine. I look at this Jets game as just an outlier. First game back for a lot of guys in a couple of months. Let's get them into the rotation. Let's get these guys cardio up. But the biggest thing that I am concerned about is his offensive line, the backups and the starters. But let me know in the comment section below, how you think Bryce Young looked in the week 1 preseason opener, and how will the Carolina Panthers look for this upcoming season? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.